Hi, everybody. I'm Susie Phillips with Momentum Stock Traders, and welcome to this day trade recap. Today, it's November 30th, and I put out 3 trade plans. The first one started in pre-market, and it was WOOF. They had some really good news, and it has a really high short interest. It was a short squeeze that was happening, but there was just no volume on this. And right now, I'm on a daily chart because I want to show you how I drew some of these lines here, these targets. Let me just focus in because when I saw it, it was already pretty close to the top of a move that it needed to make. Okay, but I drew these two little white lines here were based on, I had these 2 wicks. Do you see this wick right here of this candle, and then this wick, this is a doji. So that needed to be support, which it already had been, but I wanted a support level drawn there, so I drew that line there. So that price was about $10.08 more or less, and then this line was at $10.83, and it corresponded with a level right here. We had some wicks and this view up angle kind of matched, and we had this wick over here touching and these wicks, and that's also where the 9 EMA on the daily chart kind of slowed momentum downward to a flat. I'm going to put a wick or a line right there, and then I had this $11 level, right, and that was corresponded with the daily 50 EMA. Okay, so I had that level and it just never tagged that. But if you go to the 1 minute chart, which is where I place all my trades from in pre-market, this is that first level, and then here's the $11 level right here, this line right here. So it tagged the $11 target right here in pre-market, but there was just no volume. We're talking like 2,000, 5,000 shares. This heavy one was only 11,000 shares. And that was right at just after 6 in the morning. So, it did reach its target, but it was on no volume. So I wasn't able to trade that one. I just didn't feel comfortable about it. Anyway, that's how WOOF went. And then after that, after it hit that target, it just started this downward trend. And it's a high float, really high float stock. If you put it on the 5 minute chart, you can see it hit that level and then it started clearly. It was easy to see the downward trend, right? These candles are all selling candles. This special custom indicator that I have developed, it was clearly on a downtrend. So now it's starting to curl back up, and yeah, you can take it to this level, this 1080 possibly, but to me, it's not worth it. There's still no volume on it. So that's WOOF. The next one we worked with was NIO, and this is a Chinese stock, and I don't usually trade Chinese stocks, but this is what I've worked with a lot over the years. It's from Hong Kong, and it's a good company. It's an electric vehicle company, and I don't trust a lot of the Chinese news, but this thing had some news and other traders are reading that news, and so this thing made a move. So let me go to the 1 day chart, the daily chart, and show you where I put my lines on this one. So I had this line at $11.68, and the reason I drew that is they had this nice angle view up. I like to find those if I can, and it's at the top of a candle body, a couple of them, and that corresponds with some levels over here. I put a line there for support, and then the next line I put, this was this wick top, and that was $12.35. Actually, it was more like $12.44, but I told the trade plan room, I was being conservative since it was Chinese. I said $12.35 for that, but the line was actually at $12.44. And then this line, again, I was being conservative with the trade plan room. I said 13 on this one, but it was actually more like it was corresponding with these 2 wicks over here. Okay, these 2 wicks. There's 2 of them on the daily chart, so you need to mark those. So let's go to the 1 day chart or the 1 minute chart and see how that played out. Right when I put the trade plan out, I could see it was above the 200 and the 50. And all these other EMAs. So I thought, well, there's no reason not to get in, take it to this next target. There was enough volume. Like I say, I know the stock, I know the company, even though it's Chinese, I know it. I know how it trades. So I took it to this $11.67 level. And then I looked for a setup, which it occurred here. See how we had a nice little pullback. The tails were holding the 9 EMA, and then I just looked for strength. This thing down here didn't agree with any of it. It kept going red. It was in the green area, this colored shaded area, but in terms of this line that turns red and green, it didn't agree. But the chart, that's why you can't always rely on an indicator. You've got to rely on price action. And the candles were holding the 9. And we had some strength right here after this little pullback. So I got in at, again, my second trade was $11.90, taking it to this line of $12.43. Like I told the trade plan room, I told them $12.35. But, they can read a chart if they want to stay with it as long as it's holding levels. But I did feel confident that this needed to be a target. And if it pushes past it, then, you just look for a third entry in this case because I'd already traded it at this point. This was the first, this was the second, and this would be the third. And if the risk is low and the range, the target makes sense, then I'll get in. And I did get in here at $12.55. I told the trade plan room, watch out for 13, but I had that line. You saw how I drew this line here at 13.20, and that was it. You see how other people were looking at that level, and they all decided, that's it, that's it. If you didn't get out there, there is no getting out at that point. And being a Chinese stock, you'd be good just to get out at 13. That was a really good level to get out right here. You could have held on to this point. It would have been risky, hoping that there's somebody there to buy your shares. Here, you're going to sell your shares. There will be buyers who will buy it at this price. But here, you're not too sure. So anyway, that's how that trade went. And so now you know how I found my targets using the one-day chart, based my setups on, is it holding support here? This pre-market trade, I got in at 7:26 this morning, my time, and then you just take it to your levels, right? Just trade to your lines. After that, you're looking for a re-entry to take it to the next line. It needs to prove that it's holding support. And in this case, it held support. Once I got out at the target, I'm looking for it to hold support. Getting above that 9 EMA. Here we got above the 9. Everything was pointing up. So getting in again and taking it to the next level. Like I say, 13 was a really good target on this one. And anyway, that's how today's trades went. It's a matter of knowing how to draw your targets. And I put these trade plans out ahead of the move. My trade plan room members, they had this trade well in advance of it going, a couple of dollars per share. Because the first trade on this one was at $11.21. It went all the way up to 13, actually above 13. So $2 a share on that one. And my trade plan room members, they had that plan ahead of the move. Could have traded it several times or taken it all the way if they wanted to. Understanding, what does this level really represent? Well, let's go back to the one-day chart. That level represented the 50-day moving average, the 50 EMA right here, this dark blue dash line. It actually went a little bit above that. So if you want to go above that, you're looking for wicks, right? Wicks on these dojis. There's 2 of them there. And so that makes, and plus a candle body top there. So that was a strong level, and it made sense to put it there. Knowing how to draw your targets, and I put all these targets out way ahead of the move. My trade plans members, they know where the stock price is going to go, where it's going to pivot and turn back. And they have these other little zones that they can look for targets and re-entries after that. So that's it. If you want a trade plan every day for usually more than one stock, but in this bear market, we really only get about one good trade plan per day. And today's the Powell day when he gets out and does his thing and scares everybody away. That's kind of what we're looking at. There's a lot of hesitation in the market until he says what he's going to say. But, we still had a really good trade we took, even on a China stock. It's a stock that I know. And I was confident in giving a good trade plan. And we profited well, and it went really well today. So if that's something that you would like, some good guidance, some good trade plans, someone who's experienced and really nails the targets down, usually to the penny, will give you levels that are going to be safe, where you're going to be able to get in and get out without any trouble at all. Just go to MomentumStockTraders.com. I have a couple of really good membership plans going on, really affordable, and you'll get that back sometimes within the first day, but generally within the first week, no problem at all. So check it out. Be glad to work with you and help you trade profitably. And if you have any questions, let me know and we'll talk soon.